I got this beautiful piece of boxwood from my friend Emiliano Archibald, who got it from David Buskell in the UK, and I'm going to rough turn it so it'll dry out because I'm going to make a threaded project out of it. So I'm using this little template to mark centers and rough it out. Okay, now I'm going to square up the ends. I'll do that with a beading and parting tool. So I didn't get as nice a cut on the ends. Okay, I'll get the other one down the same way. I'm going to make this hole maybe 1/8 of an inch. Decide which is going to be the bottom and which is going to be the top. As if it really made any difference on this boxwood, I don't think it will. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chuck and concave each end. Because this wood is so precious, I'm going to incorporate the tenon on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just take out any vestige of damage now so I don't get surprised later when I get to the bottom of this. I'm just using a 3/8 inch bowl gouge. And that looks good. Now I'm going to turn around and reverse it and do it on the other side as well, and then part it off. It's fairly thick. It's a little over three inches. I'm going to use a parting tool with a little longer handle that allows me just a bit more leverage. I can put my arm under it like this if I need to. Back and forth. Okay, I think I could probably twist that off now. Yep, and there we go. Now, I'm going to, this is going to be a little bit smaller than the base, so I'm going to go ahead and take it down just a little bit. Not much, just enough to help reduce the drying. Okay, I've determined the opening for the lid is going to be 1 3/8 inches, at least the area to be rough opened. It gives me plenty of chances to fine tune it later, so that's about 18 millimeters. So I'm going to, half of that's about 18 millimeters, so I'm going to start there and just mark that little area right there and go ahead and start roughing that out. Just going to use a spindle gouge and get rid of some tools here. Get rid of that little nubbin in the middle first. When you're hollowing in grain, there's a couple of possibilities. Number one, you can use a center drill of some sort. Sometimes I reach for a hand drill. But for something shallow like this lid, what works for me is just using the spindle gouge once you get right on center. And you can push it in want to remove as much wood as possible without compromising the future design in order to enhance the drawing. And I've got this little part right here that's going to go away, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. And going to round over any edges. Facilitate drying without cracking. And I'll go back and coat this with some nitric seal. Alright, now let's put the bottom on here. Let's get rid of that nub in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and drill this one with a hand drill, so I need to make a little bit of divot. Facilitate that, staying on center. There we go. And then we're just going to come in with this. I'm going to see how far down. I've got little marks on here that I put on here with a Dremel cutoff tool. And as a reference, I want to go a little bit deeper than this one. Now, because this is a bit deeper, a little bit deeper than that lid, I'm going to go ahead and, in this case, I've got to allow plenty of wall thickness, and I've determined that to be, on a very conservative side, 1 inch, I believe. Double check my drawing. Okay, since the base is a little bit deeper, I'm going ahead and use that hand drill. Again, I'm going to use the traditional method of using a spindle gouge because it's a little fairly deep. I'm using a 1/2 inch as opposed to a 3/8. I just start at the center and sweep out. And again, taking my time. Put the wood under the tool. I'm opening it up. This is just to allow myself plenty of room for that margin of error again for that that tenon that's going to be threaded. I'm going to go ahead and come down the walls here and clean that up, and then continue to open it up a little bit deeper. Just a tiny little bit. Turn the speed up to about 1200. Check the depth hole there. A little bit of a bump in the bottom. I'll get rid of that. Just rough turn it. Make it quicker to dry. That looks good. It's right about the right place. I'm going to go ahead and come in there now with a scraper and clean that up a little bit underneath there. That down further, open it up some. I'm going to use a conventional scraper. Support it with my arm. Come up under the middle. Cross. the bottom like that. And now I'm just going to come in. Probably should remove the burr so this thing is not quite as grabby. I'm just going to tilt it up a little bit. It's opened up a little bit. I'm going to use this hook tool to get down below here, and it's a negative rake scraper, so it's going to be a little bit slow. It's okay. Okay, I don't want to get too carried away with all the detail. I just want to just rough it out enough where it will help it dry around over that inner edge. And take out the sawdust. I'm going to take these two. Another reason for dishing out a little bit on each end makes it a little easier when I put a little tape on it to leave the ends open. And I'm going to go ahead and put what this is, boxwood, in case I get senile before this thing dries. 7, 9, 22. And I think I'm going to put this in a paper bag. I'm not going to bother to seal it. I think it'll dry just fine without putting any wax on it. And that's rough turning it. One way to determine if a blank is dry is actually weigh it. And look for weight changes over consecutive days. And in this case, you can see that it did not reduce in weight, but 10 or 12 grams over about 3 months. And then all of a sudden, I check it again a couple of months later, and it actually took a drop. And that's because the humidity in my shop dropped from the high 50s, low 60s down to the 30s.